Hey, Mellow Mechanic. Welcome back to the channel. So today, what we're going to work on is we're going to work on this boat. Now, I don't know if you've noticed this boat in the background the last couple of videos, but we are finally going to get to it. This is my John boat. We call it Little John. And probably about 5 years ago or so, I installed this steering wheel and throttle and modified it so it'd work with this little outboard here. And it did good. Did what it needed to do, but today we need to fix it because I made this out of plywood and fiberglass, and you can see it's a little rotten. It's been outside for a while, so what we need to do is rebuild this and this out of aluminum and make it so it can go out in the weather. So anyway, that's what we're going to do today, but first thing we got to do is tear everything apart and see what we're working with. Old steering wheel and throttle. Hopefully all the internals are still good. It still steers, you know, and that still works. So I think we're okay there. But let's just tear it apart and see what we got. And then when we put it back together, there's some ergonomics that I want to address. This steering wheel is a little forward and a little low. You kind of have to hunch over to drive it. If you see, it's, like kind of right in line with that seat. So let's go ahead and tear this thing apart and get going on it. First thing we got to do is take the steering wheel off. It should just be the center nut if I remember right. But, having the steering wheel really made this boat a lot of fun to drive. You didn't have to twist around to turn. Like an actual boat. Alright, hopefully this just comes off easy. This whole thing is going to come off. There we go. Okay. Let's see what kind of critters are hiding behind here. Let's see if this will. Aha! There we go. That's tougher than it needed to be. I bet you these are just totally rusted. Well, here's the inside of the box, and this steering mechanism totally rotten. Just totally ripped out. So, good thing we're doing this, because this was on its last leg. So this needs to be taken apart. Jeez. Looks like what size that is. All right. Mess. Okay. That's free. Now, let's turn our attention to that. All right, apparently it is 11/16. That's good. There we go. Okay, progress. All right. I got 4 Allen bolts, and that'll come off. All right. Don't you love stainless? Doesn't look like any time has passed on these bolts, and I can reuse them. Now is that what I need? There we go. Don't need that. All right, everything is taken out and back to normal, like it wasn't even there. So now what we got to do is I need to figure out the ergonomics of where I want to put this steering wheel and run this steering box. Because before it was too far forward and like slanted forward, so I really had to reach to it. Design wise, I'm thinking of two ways to do it. Is do like I did here and cover this hole with a box and put the steering wheel on the front, or come off the side here with an arm and have it like a real simple design, and then I could just make a top for that and somebody could sit there. I kind of like that idea, but we're really going to dictate it is where this sits, because right now I got it going through a hole right there, so it's kind of limited on where that wants to be. So let me disconnect it from the motor, take it out of that hole, and then we could kind of mock it up, and that might move my decision of which way I want to go with the design. So let's do that. Okay, I got the cable out. I actually did put it back in the motor because I was sitting here mocking this up. I think what I'm going to do is use this aluminum square tubing as my frame. I don't know if you guys recognize this. This was the hydrofoil frame, but no worries, I went with a different lighter design. So now I have this tube to work with. So I think what we're going to do is cut it and make a flange that mounts to the gunnel there, and then a 90-degree down, and then bolts to the corner of this. I still have the lid that I took off a long time ago. I have to find it somewhere, but it exists. So I think I'll just put the lid back on and then build a frame here and then mount the steering rack to that. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yes. Right. Did some fabricating. I got that mount made and installed, and I got the steering rack mounted to it, and it looks pretty good. 2 bolts right there holding it, and then 2 bolts on the gunnel holding it there. The design review committee, the critics came down and didn't like the way it looks. What the steering wheel just here. They're like, yeah, that looks lame. So I think what we're going to do is like build a hood on top, and then that'll give me places in the future if I wanted some switches for lights. So let's get building on that, and then also we got to make a mount for the throttle there. So let's do that. I think what we're going to do is use some cardboard, make up some templates, and make it out of aluminum. Let's do that. All right, I got everything mocked up. I even went ahead and made the throttle housing for that, but that does look better, I admit. So now what we got to do is make all of this out of aluminum. I might make some minor changes to it. I think this angle right here is a little steep. What I was trying to go for is like a seat back, but I think that's a bit much. It needs to be more like that or something. I'll fix that. I'm going to make it out of aluminum. I do have a sheet of it right there. So I'll grab that and trace these pieces. And then we just mold it all together. And that's it. Let's get the aluminum set up and figure out how to cut it. Yeah, let's do that. All right, I got my aluminum laid out here, and I got some parts marked. What I want to do, think about using a circular saw to cut this out. It's 1/8 inch thick aluminum, and it's got a carbide blade on it, so it should cut through it. Let's see. All right, here we go. That's cutting pretty good. All right, let's do the whole thing. Well, that worked really, really, really well. I got all my pieces cut out, got them all mocked up here. The saw worked beautifully. It was like cutting plywood. It did make a heck of a mess, and all the little shavings coming off are really, really hot. So be careful there. I did use the battery-powered saw there because it did jam up a couple times, and it didn't try to kill me. It just stopped. So if I use my big worm gear one, it would probably throw the blade across the shop. So be careful, just use a smaller saw. Anyway, I got these mocked up, looking pretty good. I need to drill a hole there and another one there for the throttle. And I think what I'm going to do is let's use the new CNC. Go over there. I can tell it to drill or bore out a 3 1/8 hole, and then whatever that one needs, then we're done. So let's do that. Let's get that set up. All right, I got my aluminum piece chucked up in the CNC. Got a piece of wood here that I just screwed it down to. It's in the vise. And then got my, you can see here, just gonna machine a circular pocket and press the go. Click a start. There she goes. All right, it just finished. There's my hole. Not too bad. Didn't take too long. A couple minutes. Let's go put it on the boat. All right, got it all mocked up in here. I think it looks pretty good. I do need to cut a hole in there for the throttle, but this came out pretty good. I modified the back here, so it's not as steep. All I got to do is weld everything up, and then we'll be done. Yeah, let's do that. All right, everything is welded and installed. This project is done. I think it looks good. I did machine a hole for that, mounted the throttle there, and did take the time to make me another seat top right there, or cargo lid, whatever you want to call it. But I think it came out pretty slick. So a ton of welding on this, all the way around, bunch of seams all the way around this thing. And that thing used up almost all of my gas for my welder, but that's okay. But anyway, I think it turned out good. So if you guys like these projects, these kind of, call them side projects or something, let me know in the comments and I can do more of them. And if you do like the video, subscribe. That just helps me on my end over here. I do appreciate all the subscribers and the comments. I do enjoy reading those. And as always, I thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.